Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday 109. The truth behind language is silence. Question: how is it possible to have one group of people believe that their perspective is right and another group with the opposite beliefs feel that they are right? And all kinds of people in between these two beliefs think that their perspective is right. How can different perspectives be correct? Is there only one perspective that is correct? Where do these perspectives come from? How is a perspective created? Well, that is an excellent question given our times that we're in right now. Of course, all times are like this, so it's not really different from now and anything in our history. But what we've got is, as usual, media, as an example, is blasting a perspective about the way life is, or what a condition is, or what a situation is. And then you've got the other side trying to push up from underneath this, and they're trying to express their perspective. So there's these perspectives, and the question is, well, which one is the true perspective, and which one should I believe? So the first thing we need to observe and understand is that all of these perspectives that we hear, it comes through a language, it comes through words, and we have that capacity. So whenever we have a thought is a vritti, and a vritti is just a wave in the ocean. It is the ocean water, but when we look at the vritti itself, or the thought itself, when it arises, then we think that that thing is the real thing, but really it's only a part of the whole reality. So perspective is not that different. So we just have a lot of vrittis, or thoughts, compiled together, serving the ego's perspective, the ego's need for survival, the ego's need to be right. And so what we do, we use language to, and wording of language, to carve or design our perspective. And it goes as far as, I listen to someone and then my perspective is changed based on what they said to me. So then, well, what is the correct perspective? Your perspective is always being twisted or manipulated. We do this to ourselves. We twist and manipulate our own perspective, but it's always the ego behind it. And that's the point that we need to remember. That the ego has an agenda, and the agenda is to serve itself. So when we speak to manipulate ourselves so that we can calm down and relax and feel like we're safe and protected, and we kind of talk ourselves into get relaxed, or we can talk ourselves into getting into anxiety or confusion or worry. And we can do this to others. We can talk people into a relaxed, peaceful, protected place, or we can make them feel fearful through our words, through our languaging. So perspective is something that we create from a limited perspective, from a limited place. So all the thoughts and beliefs and past experiences, all of them are little bits and pieces that we pull together, and then we conclude a perspective. We have a side. And then, of course, the ego is in there because it's all about us. It's all about my world. And so we have a perspective from an angle. But the question is it the truth? And should we be believing it? Well, a perspective is only part. It's limited. It doesn't hold the whole truth. No thought or no vritti can hold the whole truth. It comes from the place of truth, but it can't be the truth. So if you're focusing on the outcome or the form of the thought or the idea, then whatever it is that you're looking at is only going to be part. And so if it's part, it's not whole. And so therefore, it's going to be untruth. So there's this thing called false narrative. We are constantly narrating a story to ourselves that is false. And now if you blow that up into what's happening in the world, everybody's following a false narrative. Everybody is. Because that's the way the mind works. The mind is a bunch of thoughts that with the ego running it, and it's all about me, and I'm right. Ego is right. So let's explore this a little bit more. So the languaging, the way you use your language is very powerful tool, and it can be used like a weapon. It can be used to expand your consciousness, or it can be used as a weapon to kill your enemy. Let's say, I'll just give you an example of how powerful your perspective can be that can wipe out a nation. So say, for instance, you intend to, kill a bunch of people, and you are using your language to make sure that your people are feeling safe and secure. So you design your wording and you speak in such a way that you make them feel safe and secure. So anybody who buys a perspective, they're always looking at that perspective so that their ego is intact, that they feel secure and safe. So all you have to do is speak in such terms that they will feel safe. Meanwhile, you've got an agenda. You want to make them feel safe and secure so that they're always trusting you, but you've got a plan behind them so that you can take advantage of their trust in you at some point. So you can manipulate, you can use your wording to create a perspective, and that will keep people trapped into this place called trust. And then meanwhile, you can manipulate them. This is a perspective. Like, you have a perspective, and what it boils down to is we trap ourselves in our own perspectives. We can keep because why? Because it's limited. So what we should be doing is questioning everything that comes into our mind, questioning everything that somebody else says to us, and that we're considering back and forth. Is this true? Is this true? Yeah, that's partially true. I'll hear it, I'll listen to it, but I'll conclude a little bit differently. But all your conclusions are still going to be in relation to your ego's need for survival. So what is a perspective? It's just a bunch of limited thoughts and beliefs that are controlled by the ego's need to be right and to feel safe and secure. And we can manipulate ourselves and others by the use of languaging. So what's behind all of this? This is the big question. What's behind all of this perspective, thoughts? Well, it's silence. You want to know what the truth is? You're not going to find it in a perspective because it's only part of the whole. If you want the whole, then you need to be in silence. So take that time every day. Go down to the bare silence. Listen to the silence. Let the silence expand your consciousness so that you're not focusing on a perspective. It's only part. You want the whole. So it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about settling into this place of expansion. And when you focus on the silence will take you to that place of expansion. And then there's no question of what perspective is right. If you're trying to make a decision based on which perspective should you have, you don't make a decision based on perspectives. You make the decision to close your eyes and be in that state of silence and let that permeate your whole being. And from there you make decisions about what's the right thing for your body and your being. And that's it for today's Wisdom Wednesday. See you next Wednesday. Bye.